Forgotten about this slow jam coming in at number 25 on my fantasy playlist, December 22nd, 1990. George Lamond, No Matter What, with Brenda K. Starr. Brenda K. Starr had that big hit, I Still Believe, in the fall of 1988. Another song that I remember by her is What You See Is What You Get. That was a big dance hit. Fell in love with that record sort of back in 1988, summer of 1988. This was the same era as like Knocked Out by Paula Abdul, another fantastic dance record, thinking about the late 80s, and I'll go into that just a little bit more in just a minute. But George Lamond at number 25, up from number 30 the previous week. George Lamond, a kind of a Latino singer. He was born in Washington, but he moved to Puerto Rico when he was 2 years old. He stayed at Puerto Rico until he was 7, moved back to the States, and spent the rest of his childhood, adolescence, in the Bronx and New York City. His first record, his first big record, was put out by an indie label. The record was called Bad to the Heart back in 1989. The folks at Columbia Records, they took a listen to the record. They said, man, this guy sounds good. Let's put this out. They signed him. They signed George Lamond to a record deal, Columbia Records slash Sloney. Not Sloan. I just had my midnight snack. It's kind of slurring my speech patterns a little bit. He signed with Columbia Records slash Sony Music, and they released his album. His album spawned three hit singles, including the song I want to play for you at number 25, No Matter What, by George Lamond. George Lamond was considered he officially evolved into a Latino salsa singer, but back in the late 80s, early 90s, he was what is called a freestyle singer. Now, here's the thing. Freestyle was a subgenre of dance pop music that was created in the early 80s in the Latino communities, and it crossed over to the mainstream because of artists like Shannon, who had that huge hit Let the Music Play, and there was also Lisa Cult Jam with Full Force, Wonder If I Take You Home, remember that back in 1985, and Lost in Emotion, oh my goodness, Lost in Emotion, Head to Toe back in 1987, Lisa, that freestyle Latino R&B coming into play back in the late 80s. And also, oh my goodness, Expose, another purveyor of that Latino sound. Expose, Come Go With Me, and of course the absolutely riveting, the big passion vocals. I can't remember the lead singer's name. At Point of No Return. Oh my goodness, and there was the Cover Girls. Fell in love with the Cover Girls, another freestyle act. Because of You back in late 87, early 88. Does anybody remember that? And they also did Promise Me back in the spring of 88. I fell in love with that record. I was in love with the Cover Girls. Gosh, I think if I actually met them back in the day, I think I would just, well, I don't know. I think I'd just go nuts. I'd be like, probably speechless. Like, how you doing? But Cover Girls and Stevie B, Spring Love, and oh gosh, what was this? The Postman song was this big hit back in 1990. But George Lamont's falling into that same genre. Also singing on this record, as mentioned before, was Brenda K. Starr. Brenda K. Starr was known as the Queen of Freestyle back in the late 80s, early 90s. She sings on this record with him. Don't quote me on this, but I still believe by Brenda K. Starr, Mariah Carey sang backup on that record. This is before Mariah Carey got really big in 1990, and you might recall that Mariah Carey did a version of that song. Gosh, I forgot the year. I'm thinking 97, but it could have been a couple of years, maybe 99. She covered the Brenda K. Starr, I still believe, in the late 90s. So Mr. DJ just wandering all over the place on this record. Gosh dog it, man, I just remember those acts back in the late 80s, man. It just brings back Cover Girls, Stevie B, Spring Love by Stevie B, and Lisa Cult Jam, Expose. Well, here it is, George Lamond. I actually forgot about this record. George Lamond, No Matter What, at number 25 on my fancy playlist, December 22nd, 1990.